Why did Alys Rivers become Alicent? Aemond's disturbing dream explained. Warning, spoiler warning, before we begin, this video contains major spoilers for House of the Dragon Season 3, Episode 7. We'll be breaking down Aemond's disturbing vision at Harrenhal, why Alys Rivers suddenly appears as Alicent, and what this shocking transformation reveals about Aemond's fractured mind. With that said, let's get started. One of the most disturbing moments in House of the Dragon Season 3, Episode 7 doesn't involve dragons, or battles, or bloodshed. Instead, it happens inside Aemond's mind. While staying at Harrenhal, Aemond shares an intimate moment with Alys Rivers. Everything appears normal at first. Then, suddenly, Alys' face changes. She's no longer Alys. She's Alicent Hightower, Aemond's own mother. It's a shocking image, one that immediately leaves viewers asking, why did Alys become Alicent? Was it real? Was it magic? Was it another one of Harrenhal's cursed visions? Or was Aemond finally confronting something buried deep inside himself? Let's break it all down. To understand this scene, we first have to understand where Aemond is. He's no longer in King's Landing. He's at Harrenhal. And Harrenhal isn't just another castle. For centuries, it has been surrounded by stories of curses, ghosts, strange visions, and people slowly losing themselves inside its walls. Characters who arrive at Harrenhal rarely leave unchanged. The castle has a way of forcing people to confront the parts of themselves they've spent years trying to hide. We've already seen Daemon experience disturbing visions there. Now, it's Aemond's turn. The scene itself is deliberately confusing. Aemond is with Alys Rivers. They're speaking. They're close. Everything feels real. Then, without warning, Alys transforms into Alicent. For just a moment, the lines between reality, memory, dream, and prophecy completely disappear. The show never tells us exactly what's happening, and that's intentional. The mystery is part of the experience. But why Alicent? Why not Visenya? Why not Daemon? Why not Lucerys, the boy whose death still haunts Aemond? The answer lies much deeper. Alicent isn't simply Aemond's mother. She represents something much more powerful. She represents the approval he spent his entire life chasing. From childhood, Aemond always wanted to prove himself. He was bullied for not having a dragon. He watched Aegon receive attention despite constantly disappointing everyone. He believed that if he became stronger, smarter, more disciplined, his mother would finally see him as the son who could save their family. Claiming Vhagar wasn't just about gaining a dragon. It was about earning Alicent's respect. For a time, he believed he had finally done it. But as the war continues, that relationship slowly begins to crumble. The more ruthless Aemond becomes, the further Alicent pulls away. Instead of admiration, he begins seeing disappointment. Instead of pride, he sees fear. By Episode 7, the person whose approval he wanted most barely recognizes the man he's become. That emotional wound never healed, and Harrenhal forces him to confront it. Now let's talk about Alys Rivers. Is she responsible for this vision? Possibly. Throughout Season 3, Alys repeatedly demonstrates knowledge she shouldn't have. She seems to understand people's fears before they speak. She predicts events. She appears almost supernatural. Whether she's a witch, a dreamwalker, or simply an incredibly perceptive woman, the show intentionally refuses to explain. But Episode 7 strongly suggests she's doing more than having ordinary conversations with Aemond. She seems capable of leading him toward emotions he's desperately trying to suppress. Notice something important. Alys never tells Aemond what he's feeling. She allows him to experience it himself. That's what makes her influence so unsettling. So why doesn't Alys simply remain herself? Because Aemond can resist Alys. He can question her motives. He can challenge her words. But he cannot easily resist his own memories. The moment Alys becomes Alicent, every emotional wall Aemond has built throughout the series begins collapsing. Suddenly, he isn't the feared prince riding Vagar anymore. He's the lonely child desperate for his mother's approval. That's why the transformation is so powerful. It's psychological warfare, not physical warfare. There's another fascinating detail many viewers overlooked. The vision doesn't simply expose love, it exposes guilt. Deep inside, Aemond knows the war has changed him. He knows innocent people have died because of his choices. He knows Alicent no longer looks at him the way she once did. Whether he'll ever admit those feelings aloud is another question entirely. But inside the vision, his subconscious can't hide them anymore. Harrenhal itself plays an enormous role in this. The castle almost functions like another character. It's a place where buried fears become impossible to ignore. Throughout Targaryen history, people who spend time there often experience strange dreams, unexplained visions, or emotional breakdowns. Whether those experiences are caused by ancient magic or by the psychological weight of the castle itself, no one truly knows. But one thing is clear. Harrenhal forces people to face the truth, even truths they'd rather never see. There's another layer hidden in the transformation from Alys to Alicent. It symbolizes the conflict between desire and responsibility. Alys represents temptation, freedom, escape from the political expectations that have defined Aemond's entire life. Alicent represents duty, family, judgment. The moment one face becomes the other, those two worlds collide. Aemond realizes he cannot separate his deepest desires from the emotional scars that shaped him. Every decision he makes, every battle he fights, every ruthless act he commits is still influenced by the little boy who wanted his mother to say, "I'm proud of you." Perhaps that's why this scene is so heartbreaking. People often describe Aemond as fearless, cold, unstoppable. But Episode 7 reminds us that even the most dangerous man in Westeros carries invisible wounds. His greatest weakness isn't Daemon, it isn't Rhaenyra, it isn't even Vhagar's enemies. It's the part of himself that's still searching for love, approval, and forgiveness. There's another question the episode quietly asks. If Alys truly can influence Aemond's visions, how much control does she really have? Is she merely revealing emotions that already exist, or is she carefully shaping the future by guiding Aemond towards certain choices? The show doesn't answer that question, but it leaves enough clues to make us wonder whether Alys is becoming one of the most powerful players in the entire Dance of the Dragons. Not through armies, not through dragons, but through the human mind itself. Final thoughts. So, why did Alys Rivers become Alicent? Because the vision was never really about Alys. It was about Aemond, his guilt, his loneliness, his desperate need for acceptance, and the emotional scars he's carried since childhood. Whether the transformation was caused by ancient magic, Harrenhal's curse, Alys Rivers' mysterious abilities, or Aemond's own fractured subconscious, almost doesn't matter, because the vision reveals something far more important. Beneath the ruthless prince, beneath the fearless rider of Vhagar, beneath the warrior who terrifies all of Westeros, still lives a son who desperately wants his mother's approval. And perhaps that's the cruelest truth of all. No matter how much power Aemond gains, no matter how many battles he wins, some wounds can never be healed. So what do you think? Was Alys Rivers truly controlling Aemond's vision, or was Harrenhal simply forcing him to confront the deepest parts of his own mind? Let me know your theories in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more House of the Dragon Explained videos, hidden details, ending breakdowns, and Fire and Blood lore.